picture now, what? First of all, I'm not so sure if I'm Brian's boss. Brian is much more loved and respected, I think, in the building than I am. So he just adds so much to the office. I can't tell you how great it was, and thank you, Brian, for that extremely kind introduction. But he's not only, you know, a valued member of the staff, so to speak, but is really an inspiring advocate. He is someone who leads by example, and he also happens to be one of the busiest guys that I know. His schedule rivals any politician that I know, so thank you very much, Brian, for that. But it's really an honor to be here to celebrate the work of the Mass Advocates for Children, and it's always great to see Karen, wherever she is. There you are. There you are. One of the best MCs that I have ever seen at any event. But I have been fortunate, really, to have benefited in my role. I was going to say a speaker, but I think I'd have to say probably from the very first day that I walked into the building. Counsel from the Massachusetts Advocates for Children. It was interesting to know, just as a little bit of sidelight, and Karen, I apologize if I mess up the schedule here a little bit, because this is sort of an issue I've been involved with for many of years and have so many memories. But I can remember being elected and serving in 1991. And I went into the State House and I stated that, you know what, for about 6 months to a year, I think I'm just going to sort of learn the lay of the land a little bit around here. You know that old saying, listen more than speak, and I, decided that that's the way I was going to start. Little did I know that some 3 months into my very first year as a legislature, here I am before a packed audience at the Gardner Auditorium, taking issue against the governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and relative to the standard of care which we've been fighting for a while. And I'd like to just mention a lady who's been with me all the way, and she's the one, I guess, the first person that I dealt with on that issue, and she's been just an unbelievable advocate and a wonderful mentor to me on this particular issue, and that's Julia Landau. I think she's great. And I can't also help but mention and thank all the folks who mentioned earlier, all of the elected officials. And I know that Barbara Italian's going to be speaking after me. I think her and Tom Santacantor, I don't think you could have better folks who fought relative to the issue of autism than these two folks. And I just sincerely want to thank you for that, Barbara and Tom. Tonight I'm especially proud to be here to celebrate two people who I consider to be personal friends. Two people who I've learned much from. Representative Alice Wolf and Oz Mondaha. Alice's time in the House was defined by her sheer grit. And I think I can say that safely. I think Representative Decker would agree with me on that. She gracefully combined compassion and know-how to accomplish an incredible amount of good. Alice, you are rightfully known for your unyielding work for social equality. Tonight we also celebrate one part of that work, advocating on behalf of children and youth with disabilities. I'll be quick, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention also your leadership in creating the nation's first program to fund trauma-centered schools. More and more, we understand the connection between trauma, mental health, and success in school and beyond. You were on the vanguard years ago, and because of your work, Massachusetts took action. And we continue to build on that foundation. And one thing I will never forget, Alice, something which I was mentioning to you a little bit earlier, was the fact, again, some years after I became Speaker, we were still fighting the standard issue as the fight went on. And I can remember that I had decided that I was going to take on the powers to be at the time. I felt at that time, quite frankly, that I would probably going to lose my chairmanship, actually, by doing what I did. But the one thing I remember, and I'll never forget, is the fact that throughout that whole debate, not only the debate itself, but pre-debate, there was one person who was by my side all the time, patting my head, telling me not to worry. And she just proved to me what a great person she was, and obviously still is, and that's Alice Wolf. Thank you so much, Alice. And although we didn't win at that time, we did a pretty good job, I think, by then. And years ago, I had the pleasure to travel with Oz to Cuba on, I would say it's a humanitarian trip or one of Jared Barrios' trips. I'm not sure how best to describe it. We'll call it humanitarian. One of the things, the story about Oz as well, was when we were walking one night, after being in a particular event in Cuba, this guy fell down, he saw, and almost we thought we almost was going to lose the poor guy. The first person I ever walked with who fell down a saw, that was an open saw. You can laugh at that, it was really funny. Not so much for him. So I literally saved his life, I think, that night. But it was in Cuba, quite frankly, where I came to understand why Oz is so effective and respected. He realizes that a leader is not always the person who's at the front of the pack, but sometimes behind the scenes, who empowers others. Nelson Mandela popularized the concept, saying that a leader should be like a shepherd, compelling people to change their behavior until little by little, an entire community has become more equitable. Oz's work to connect those with disabilities to career opportunities reminds me very much of this. He has changed the lives of countless people, and in doing so, has transformed opinions, helped companies improve their performance, and initiated meaningful, lasting change. Oz, I can't say I've known you for as many years as some of the folks here, but I don't know if I can say that I've met such a good, decent person as Oz, and I'm proud to be a friend. To all of the honorees and all of those who lifted their voices tonight and every day, let me just say thank you. And on behalf of the Massachusetts House of Representatives, we stand with you and we look forward to future partnerships. Thank you very much, and God bless.